Hello everyone. I want to introduce you to the EVO change process. For me, it began when I was really young, probably 10 years old. I was aware of a presence around my life, something other than the life I was being conditioned to. I can remember an occasion when I was 16 years old, when I was about to go to school, and the bus came, and something in me didn't want to get on the bus, compelled me not to get on the bus. I went home. I got what money I had, my passport, and I went to Heathrow Airport and took a flight to New York. I was nearly 17. It seemed such a crazy thing to do, but I felt so compelled to do it. At that moment, that was a one-off action or event, inner event in my life. But as time went on, more and more of these occurred. I was at university in North America, and one day someone wrote to me that they had found some elements of this other pathway that were vital come immediately, and I did. So sometimes it came from other people. Sometimes it arose in myself. But by the time I was 23, I dedicated myself entirely to the pursuit of this other realm, not really knowing what it was. It had no career prospects, it had no plan about it. And over the next 40 years, so now we're running right up to today, it became increasingly clear that there was some intelligence about this disruption in my life, this intervention in my life. And all the time I was studying, observing, watching. It wasn't some casual pursuit. It was totally absorbing. It gave me insights. I had to follow those insights up, put them together with other insights. I had help from great teachers, an incredible teacher. And gradually a picture began to emerge of the world that made more sense to me than the ones that were being pushed towards me in the education system. And I took some of my results to people who I thought would have a view about them. And always I tried to find the very best people, the top professors, the most eminent people, the most well-known people. And fortunately, doors opened, and these people suggested that in the strange way of coming at these things, I really had open doors that they were on the edge of, they were also thrilled by. But that wasn't the end of the story for me, because I wondered what was the point of all of this. By this time I'd opened schools, I'd taught people all over the world, I'd developed courses and programs, I'd been invited to the United Nations, I'd done so many things. But still, it kind of nagged at me that this is something more. About 7 weeks ago, I had major heart surgery. And I was lying on the table prepared for the surgery. And still this process was going on in me, as if it was just another day in my life. And it occurred to me that all of this was a message, and a message to the human race about a fundamental change that was taking place and that I had linked into and I had clarified. I called it the EVO change process. Why it took me so long, I don't know, because I had met so many people. As an example, one of the world's most famous philosophers who had read one of my books and said, what you've come to is what I've come to. Isn't it extraordinary about this synchronicity, this global movement of consciousness that's occurring? I have a phone call next week with a lady who's a professor at Oxford, a very eminent thinker, whose website begins somewhat like mine. At the age of 10, she says, I saw angels or fairies around me. You know, once this was considered very strange. As people begin to talk about this other world, this other life, there is a coherence to it that's quite extraordinary. The EVO change process has a fundamental relevance for humans addressing the challenges of our times. I should have seen it more clearly when I was at the United Nations, where the staff I was working with were struggling with the major challenges of our times: poverty, pollution, global warming. And I was trying to show that through this process of change, we could see those issues in an integrated way. After all, some of the great heroes of my life, Krishnamurti, Gandhi, Einstein, all these people said, if you want to impact or change the world around you, you have to change yourself first. And that is what I seem to have unlocked. The inner steps of change to bring a person into the consciousness of the part that we play in these times. If you, like me, are looking at a world that is in crisis and you think technology is going to save it, well, okay. But I have only one view about that from more than 40 years of deep, deep research, is that until we humans change ourselves in line with EVO, with the evolutionary story, we will never change the world around us. Come with us on this journey. It is so big, exciting, inspiring, spiritually loaded.